Hi guys, it's Jen here and welcome to Jen's World About Watercolour. So today I'm going to paint for you a little sugar glider. These guys are little gliding possums. They're nocturnal, so they're awake at night, they sleep during the day. They're little omnivores, so they love sugary food and sap and nectar, and they also eat little insects. They glide from tree to tree. They have a membrane which extends from its little front legs to its little hind legs, and it glides from tree to find food and escape from predators if it's being chased. It lives here in Australia, it lives in New Guinea and also some Indonesian islands. They're only little. They're about 9 to 12 inches long from the tip of their nose to the end of their tail, and they weigh about 5 ounces or about 140 grams, I suppose that is. Anyway, so we're drawing in his little ears, and I'm using my Staedtler Mars Micro 0.7 with a HB lead, and I'll be using my Sennelier watercolours today that you can see in the video here, and my silver black velvet brushes, so which are my favourites. So right now we're just drawing his little eye in. It's only a small painting, this one. They're only little guys. I suppose he's actually about life size. But yeah, so now I'm drawing where his little wing would be, or his membrane that goes from his front leg. It's sort of folded up, and it just makes a neat little line when it's all folded up. And just doing his belly now, because he's going to be sitting on a branch. Yeah, I did a practice sketch of this. I was on the plane coming back from New Zealand, and I drew this little guy, and while I was on the plane having nothing to do except draw, which was lovely. So yeah, so I drew this little guy and I really enjoyed it, so I thought I shall do one for you guys. So yeah, gave him a bit of a fat head so I've got to take a little bit of that off. So yeah, the awesomeness of these little pencils, they've got the rubber in the end, so they've just got everything, these little pencils, they're awesome. So now I'm doing the branch in, just like that, and pop the back of the branch on. Oh no, doing his tail, and yeah, because it's wrapped down around the branch just to help him grip. Take the other bit of the branch down, and do the little mark on his eyeball. And I've got to stand this up and have a quick look, because sometimes when you draw on a flat surface it changes the perspective of the picture for you. Like, you look at it and it can be elongated. So yeah, I just stood it up for a bit just to see where I was at and if it was all good, and it was. So now I'm going in with a bit of burnt umber and a little bit of ultramarine blue and making a light grey wash. So just a thin wash, a watery wash, and I'll cover all his dark bits, so which is just his face, a little bit of his arm, and onto his rump and onto his tail. So we'll do a white wash all over his grey bits. A light wash, yeah, light wash. Did I say light wash or white wash? I meant light wash. All over his grey bits. And I'll hold the book up a fraction. You can still see it okay. So just doing that so I can see a bit better and run the watercolour over his little body. So just take it just over the tip of his back. And onto his forehead, and then just around his bottom, and then yep, put a bit of grey on his tail. So this is just the undercoat, so this is the very first layer, and this is going to be really quick. It's drying really quick tonight, so we've had quite a mild day. It's winter here, but it's about 15 degrees. I think it got to about 14 or 15 degrees today, and in Melbourne it got to 17 odd degrees. So we're smack in the middle of winter, so it's not been particularly cold. But yeah, I've got the pictures drying quite quickly. So anyway, so I do his little eyeball. I add a bit of Payne's grey, being careful to go around the edges of his little legs. And just do the very edges of where his dark fur, his grey fur meets the white. So they've got just a little dark line. And then I take that around where his membrane would be. It's sort of folded up around his back and sort of his sides. So all you see is his little white underbelly. So I just take that grey just around his little forehead. And they've got a little masky bit, like a little brown bit around their eyes. So I just put the little base of that, just a guide for later when I pop that in. Now I'm just going to darken up the end of his tail because they've got a little black brushy bit at the end, or not brushy bit, a little black bit at the end of their tail. So I'll add that in with the Payne's Grey. And these are all quite thin washes, there's nothing thick here, it's not too complicated. It's a nice simple little painting. Just try and keep little soft edges. So now I'm going back with a mix of a slightly thicker mix of ultramarine and burnt umber, just to match it in more to the darker bit of his tail, and then take that around the grey. So he's got dark grey, middle grey, medium grey, bit of burnt umber, and then light grey. It sort of matches, sort of blends his coat around the edges. And then put a very teeny tiny thin wash around his belly and under his chin on his white. We want to leave that predominantly white and use the white paper, but he has got a little bit of shadow, so I'm going in there with just the teeniest, thinnest wash of that grey, and now I'm going to add a little bit of turquoise, and that will just give the effect of shadow under him. Just like that, and I'll wash it out wet the brush a little bit and just sort of smooth it out, sort of drag it around so it thins it down. And it's just a hint of blue then, just a very fine hint. And now I'm going in with a little bit of Alice Crimson, just onto his nose and into his ears and onto his paws, just a thin wash, a watery wash. And then when that dries at a fraction, I'll just pop a little bit of a thicker bit. But now I'll go back in and just smooth out the edges on the blue, keep it looking soft. And I forgot a bit of his tail, so I've got to go back in and do that. So just add a bit of the original mix that I had there. Just like that, so it matches in with his little body and connects. Awesome. So now I'm just going to touch the inside of his ear and his nose just to define them a little bit more. Darken up his little paw. Put a little bit of shadow, which is a little bit of turquoise under his leg. And now I'm just going to finish that little eye off, being careful to leave the white reflection on there. I'll zoom on him in on him after so you can see it a bit better in a little bit. So just touching up the edges of his coat. He's looking quite cute. Quite happy with this little picture. So now I'm adding in I'm just putting a clean wet brush and I'm running that up the branch, because with branches, with Australian trees, the gum trees are quite light coloured when the bark comes off. So what I'm doing is I wet the tree, and then I just drop into the wet on wet yellow ochre, and it runs down and it gives a really natural woody look for our trees here. And then I drop a bit, I'll go back in a sec, and I'll pop a bit of raw sienna, just like about now, a bit of raw sienna, and pop that on top, wet in wet still. And that'll run down and just gives the effect of the bark. And then I'll pop a little bit of burnt umber as well in a sec. Right about now, a little bit of burnt umber, and pop that into the wet mix as well. And that just gives a really good effect of an Australian gum tree. And I'll pop that in under his belly because it's shadowy there, so the burnt umber creates a little bit of shadow there. under his belly and take it back into his leg. Down the branch. Just do a little touch of grey just to define that shadow under his arm again, under his belly and his elbow. Just like that. And under his chin. Just like that. Whoops. And now do his little masky bit. He's just got a little slight brown patch around his little eye, going down to his nose. And he is just about done. So here you go, I've zoomed in for you. He's a cute little guy. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. It was awesome fun. Don't forget to click like and subscribe and click on the bell so you don't miss out on my future videos, because I would love to share my videos with you. Anyway, thanks guys, have an awesome day and I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.